Who here wants to sleep after you have your baby?
Okay.
Sleep is very important to me. Less important to Nick, actually.
We're the opposite.
Yeah.
I can't function on low amount of sleep, and Lauren can get 3 hours and completely fine.
Hello.
I can help with some sleep stuff.
Oh my God!
Fun surprise.
I'm Lauren, by the way.
I'm Brandy, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
So I guess the question will be first to ask, do you all have a sleep plan?
No,
No.
never even
No.
heard of it.
I know what my plan was. I don't know that I talked to my partner about it, but I was thinking if I'm doing the birthing, I need to sleep for at least 48 hours.
Usually what happens is at 2 a.m. you realize you guys didn't have the same plan.
Yeah.
And to avoid that at 2 in the morning, you want to have that plan ahead of time. Like, how are you prioritizing sleep?
So
We did
we did have a
Yeah.
plan then. Now that you mention it, we had always said that. What's
What's the plan?
We specifically mentioned shifts.
what do you think about that?
I think that's great. And so always the second part of this plan is that the baby doesn't know your plan.
Yeah.
So number one, if you can just do this one thing, it's going to cut out 75% of any sleep issue you can have. And that's letting your baby go down drowsy but awake.
Okay.
Have you heard that before, the drowsy but awake?
No, but let me commit that to memory.
Okay. And what that means is that a lot of times we think on TV that babies have to be rocked to sleep, they have to be patted to sleep, and really they actually have a way to fall asleep. They've been doing it and your tummies are doing it now. They can do that when they come out. And so if you just practice letting them do that, they'll be able to slowly be able to do that on their own. They won't need so much time and attention later on as months come, okay? So drowsy but awake,
Wow, drowsy but awake.
feeding that every 2 to 3 hours. And then the other thing that I do a lot with clients is doing a dream feed. Have you guys heard about dream feeds?
Nope.
So a dream feed is basically when you're getting baby roused from that really sleepy state and not fully waking them up and actually getting them to the breast or with the bottle and feeding them in this kind of in-between state. Have you heard from friends or family oh, baby won't sleep unless I nurse them or they need to eat to go back down? Just by doing that one thing, you cut that association that breastfeeding means sleep.
Is part of that keeping the lights low?
Exactly. So having a night light, having something like the Hatch, for example, is a great product because you could have that little bit of light. You can feed baby and you're kind of keeping things really, really calm and quiet. The first 2 or 3 weeks is going to be really important for you if you decide that you want to nurse this baby, that you are feeding as much as possible because that's going to be what establishes your milk supply for months to come, which also means you're going to sleep better. You might have heard a lot about cluster feeding going on, off, which is really normal. Kind of think about your baby topping themselves off before the end of the night. So you want to lean into that and do that because it's a feeding thing, but it's also really helpful to your sleep.
Do you have to burp them?
You do have to burp them. So most babies until about 4 or 5 months need to be burped after feeding, because if not, they may wake you up an hour later with some gas pains and then you're kind of disrupting your whole sleep cycle. So the burping is important for that first 4 months.
Okay.
So,
What else?
Yes, there's so much. Who here knows about swaddling?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you know about it?
Well, it's like wrapping your baby like a burrito, but it's also because they can wake themselves up by their arm movements.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. You know a lot.
Yes.
And it mimics the womb,
Exactly.
how they were in the womb.
They want to feel really cocooned. They're in a
Right.
very tight, dark, cozy place now. And when they come out, it's a lot happening. Lights,
Yeah.
camera, action. You want to make sure that they have more of that cozy feeling.
Some babies don't like being swaddled, though,
People
right?
say that. I don't believe it. 99.9% of babies do want to be swaddled. Every now and then, you'll have some babies who maybe don't have a strong startle reflex or are a bit more calmed in their bodies and don't need it. What people are concerned about is hip dysplasia. If you had that, then you would take more precautions. For the average parent baby, as long as you could be able to get a finger through, it's the right level of tightness.
I've got a controversial topic.
Oh, I like it.
Co-sleeping.
Oh, that's not very controversial.
Oh, okay.
Well, it shouldn't be. More than half of my families do some form of co-sleeping, and so we want to make sure that if you're going to do it, that you understand how to make a safe surface to sleep on. You might even consider having something that attaches to your bed, so they actually kind of have their own space.
Oh, okay.
Who's the person who's going to be a nightmare if they don't get sleep?
Yeah.
So-
Okay, I
Two
got
of
it.
us.
Cross it. Yeah.
So if it's mom, then we want to make sure that you can get to bed as early as possible. And so, in the beginning, they're going to be busy bees. It's going to be your job to be no, you need to sit down. We're going to do this. Even if you can get 2 hours here, 1 hour there, that's going to add up and you're going to feel a lot better. And you're going to have that. You're going to be on a birth high for those first couple of days. You're going to be just so excited to have this person and to see how amazing you are and what you were able to create.
you on that.
You are. You are. And it's regardless of how this baby gets out of your body, you're going to feel like you have run a marathon and there's nothing you can't do. So if you can from the beginning be thinking about the more more that I protect my sleep, the faster my body's gonna heal, the better this experience is gonna be, the more present I'm gonna be able to be for all the things that are happening right now. Just remember that when you're deciding, like, should I go do this thing or should I take a nap?
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be thinking about what you wanna remember from this 3 months, you know, 10 years from now, because it goes by, like people say, it's the longest, shortest time.
Whoa,
So much info.
So much.
this is amazing.
Get that?
I didn't bring a notepad for this. I'm glad you got it all on tape.